Hi, welcome to my channel. Feel free to subscribe or not, that's fine. How are you guys doing? I'm doing okay, like complete transparency. I just woke up. I put my makeup on downstairs. I thought about making a video. My wings are crooked. We are fucking radically accepting ourselves today. For our crooked wings. Okay, so I did my makeup downstairs, but it was okay. Fuck. How do I begin this video? I'm like, how do I say words? Um, hi, hello, how are you? These are normal human words. I hope you're doing well. What kind of media are you consuming? Tell me right now. Leave a comment. Let me know what you guys are into. What are you watching? Is it the news? Is it just reels on Facebook or Instagram or TikTok? What are you guys doing? Where do you consume most of your media from? Let me know. I have been buying older DVDs off of Amazon and the internet and just collecting physical media like VHSs and also I've been going through vinyl a lot lately. Vinyl has had a resurrection. There's the resurrection of vinyl lately. I've noticed. Very exciting, very exciting. But yeah. I can't tell if I want to put my hair up or keep it down, and I'm having kind of a difficulty. Um, I like it fluffy. I don't know. I don't know. Anyways, so fuck. Earlier, I was downstairs. I got ready. I was trying to film this, and I woke up an hour before my husband was supposed to go to work. And that's always strange. I sat up and I was like, I feel extremely rested. Like, I feel really good. And that's always not a good thing. Do you ever feel like really good about your life and then you realize you outslept your allotted time for sleeping. Have you ever done that? Have you ever accidentally slept so hard you felt like a new person when you woke up? Well, that's kind of like what happened with me. We slept until roughly an hour before my husband was supposed to go to work. And so, did it feel like ecstasy? Yes. Do I feel like a new person? Yeah. Do I feel happy? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I feel really very good to be alive right now, which is rare. Which is rare. And the aggravation within my soul is at a minimal, like it's minimally like flaring up because usually when I don't get rest, I'm just like, you know what? I hate this, I hate that, a lot. And they're all things that deserve to be hated. Like I hate when greedy corporations put cyanide in the river that goes directly to the town's water supply. I think that deserves to be hated. But we're not going to talk about that now. And because I slept so long, I feel like I can just let things go. So who knew? I just needed to sleep. I'm just a sleeper. I'm just a sleeper. I'm a yapper and a napper by nature, I suppose. That's what I'm trying to say. This is the hairdo for the day. Anyway, so I was doing my makeup downstairs. I was recording it, but then it like life happened. Like I said, it was an hour. before my husband had to go to work, and so there was a lot of tension between, you know, getting him to work and other things. So yeah, but he was cool about it. He was so chill. He was like, you know what, it's fine, whatever. But I was not. I was not. I was just like, life. So whatever. Um, trying to smooth out. I don't have a brush for blending, so I've been using my fingers, and this has a brush on it. It is the Pro Concealer HD High Definition in the shade Fairest. That's what's achieving this fucking white look right now. I do have some clown white light, but I didn't want to wear like grease paint today. I just didn't feel like it. And yes, my wings, I believe, are crooked. But you know what? Life isn't perfect, so just get the fuck over it. It's fine. Yeah, last night I noticed I was laughing quite a lot. And I was very happy. Am I running out of this? Yes, I am. I found this at Target. Go to Target. I noticed that last night I was happy and I was laughing quite a lot. And then this morning I woke up refreshed, as if like I told my husband it felt like God has given me a new life. And yeah, I don't know. I just feel really good. I feel really great today, which is you know, all hail the great feeling. So yeah, but I do need to get more brushes. I need to just re-up my makeup stuff, because I usually wear makeup in the summer. I don't know why I'm like that. It'll be 100 degrees, 115% humidity, and I'm just like, clown white light, whatever, babe. Like, you know, for autumn and summer, I wear quite a lot of makeup. But yeah. Anyways, everyone started waking up, and you're gonna have to excuse me. I'm gonna be fucking with my hair. Everything gets stuck in my hair. Jesus fucking Christ. God damn that. Everything gets stuck in my hair. Anyways, yeah, so if my face is not blended perfectly, it's because I don't have brushes. I have fingertips. And that's about it. So my husband wants to go to some place for a vacation, but I accidentally got drunk and leaked whenever I ordered American Gods, which I have, and I've been reading, and I love it so much. It's so good. So American Gods is really good. What was I saying? I would lose my head if it wasn't attached to my body. Okay. I was saying something. Oh, I leaked. I drank, and then I ordered American Gods. We talked about this. I've confessed. I've confessed my sins to you guys. I drank too much mead, and I ordered books, and then whatever. You know, it's just fun. It's fun. It's nice. Okay. I stopped drinking for quite some time, and I didn't drink, and now I make my own mead. Life comes at you very fast sometimes. Completely different train of thought. I had a like a past life reading done, and I've done my own, and I used to do them professionally. I don't know if I've told you guys this, but I used to be a past life astrologer and tarot reader. It's embarrassing, yes, but it's what I did. So I was a past life astrologer and tarot card reader. And yes, you can do past life readings with tarot cards. I took a whole class on it from this woman. She was like 80 years old, and she was just a very, very seasoned card reader at the shop I worked at. And so at the shop I worked at, you got to take the metaphysical classes for free because you worked there. And they said it was kind of like tasting and testing the waters. So I got to go to these places for free. So in my free time, that's what I did. I spent like 100% of my time at that shop. I loved it. And in fact, I just would love to open up a bookstore myself, but nobody down here reads. I live in redneck utopia, and I'm like in a little cage singing to myself and to you guys, trapped in a hellish strange place where nobody understands me. It really sucks. Anyways, so I have to allow this certain aspect of my personality to grow while the other aspects of my personality fester. And and it really sucks because I would like to have really nice conversations with people again. But I don't know. I haven't had a nice conversation with someone since like 2019. Anyways, so what was I saying? I got drunk, I ordered American Gods, and I let the chat leak. No, she said to me, because I was drinking, and she was like, hey, I got a new job. I would like to go with you guys to Roswell, New Mexico this year. Because if you don't understand, if you're new to this channel, or if you didn't catch that vlog, whatever, chat, I go to Roswell, New Mexico once a year for the Crash Festival at 1947. Look it up. Anyways, yeah, I go to the Roswell, New Mexico, and yeah, take pictures of Travis Walton and listen to his stuff and whatnot, and Fire in the Sky and la 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 la. So, anyways, so yeah, once a year we go there, and it's really fun. If you have a family like with children and things of that nature, Roswell, New Mexico is a completely family orientated city, and also the architecture, like the courthouse and things, is very nice, very nice. Like touching things. I like touching old architecture, especially things built in like the early 1900s, 1800s. You know what I mean? Those very nice. I like touching those things. I'm gonna touch it. Anyways, so yeah, I like going there. But yeah, it's very fun. They have like these foam parties in the streets, just random foam parties, or like you're just completely like they start shooting bubbles into the air, and then it's just ecstasy and fun. The people are having fun. They're eating the elote, like the corn on the corn in a cup and corn and stuff and things. It's very fun. I like it a lot. It reminds me of just all the years I've missed my family. Because if you don't know, like just anyways, it does not matter. So she was like, you guys go once a year. I want our family to go with you. I think that we should, because she's been my really good friend since middle school, and then she married into the family, and I married into the family. And so it's funny because we were both with the brothers of this family. Like we were both with separate brothers from this family. And so my friend from middle school kind of became, she's my sister-in-law now, which is interesting. But yeah, I was drinking and she told me that, and I was like, when I drink, I'm very honest, a little harsh. Maybe not as harsh as I am in reality. But I was like, I don't think we're going to Roswell this year. And she was like, what? What's going on? And I was like, we've been talking about like Airbnb-ing a castle in Scotland. Because I don't know, something happened. I could not tell you what happened, but I don't, in my drunken stupor, I was like, let's go to Europe. Let's go to the UK. Let's go places. Yeah. But me and my friends talk about bringing our own seasoning to the UK with us, because we're from the coast, like next to Louisiana, so we know about seasonings. I don't know if you guys know, but we know. Anyways, there's also a place in Romania I want to go to. There's a lot of places I want to go. And I don't know if you know this, but in high school I was studying the Romanian language because I was so avid about going to Romania. Anyways, so yeah, so she was like, oh, you guys are going to Scotland? I was like, I want to. We're trying to save up money and get passports so we can go eventually. But yeah, they have like Airbnb, and you can Airbnb for like $148 a night, up to $600 and more a night at castles in Scotland. Like you could just have a castle to yourself. And I was like, oh wow, yeah. So I sent the information to my husband. I was like, wouldn't that be neat? And he was like, well, for a vacation this year, let's go somewhere else. So we are vacationing. How do you say? We are fiddling with ideas for vacation. We get like, he gets a vacation a year, and so here are the ideas. He has spoken these things. He was like, we could go to Yellowstone. I love Yellowstone. If you know me, you know me. I told him I would probably kill myself Just kidding. Just to stay there. No, I'm kidding. It's a joke. But like, I love Yellowstone. Oh my God, Yellowstone is so immaculate. Oh God, mountains. There's a certain climate I love, and Yellowstone has every climate within the within the park. It's kind of fascinating. Um, anyway, so there was a Yellowstone, and then he said Pigeon Forge, and then I said, well, we promised our youngest to go to Salem sometime. He wants to go visit a place he calls where it's Halloween 24/7, and so he wants to go to Salem. So my husband was like, well, we could go to New England and blah blah blah, and like in the mix of everything, I was like, oh, the Scotland castles ideas, that. Um, which these are all just fantasies. We like to fantasize. I think it's important for you and your partner to sit there and kind of like make things up and like fantasize and dream together. I think it's important for me personally in a partnership, even in a friendship, to share dreams and to dream together and to create this like conjoined fantasy daydream of goals and aspirations and whatnot. That is so delicious to me, to have a communion in that way, to have a partnership where you can fantasize and dream about whatever, without limitations. I hate limitations. That's something that really sucks dick about existence, is when people start limiting, because like, oh, where am I gonna get the money, or like they have these things, and then all you're doing is like binding and winding yourself to the value of $1. But our dreams are limitless, and I feel like the universe does respond to dreamers quite well. To fantasy believers, I don't know, to dreamers, those who walk wounded and dream big. 12th house stuff, if you're into astrology, 12th and 11th house stuff. Of course, people are the 12th house, they're like, oh, it's so scary, whatever. But I fucks with a lot of people with a lot of 12th house energy, because it's delectable to me. It's like fine, delicious things. 12th house energy is 12th and 8th house stuff. I understand it very well. So I find a lot of I don't know, blissful company with those who have some pretty important placements there. Yeah. And I run into a lot of men who have Mars in the 12th house. That is so strange. And I think also my best friend has that. And or Mercury, she's Mercury there. And then I have a couple of other people that I know who have very like 12th house Martian energy, and that's so interesting. I don't know why I attract those kinds of people, or not just I attract them, but I am attracted to them. I find I don't know, but sometimes it's dangerous too. If somebody, sorry, we're going to deviate into astrology for a second. If somebody is unaware of their Mars, their desires, right? That also plays into the dreaming. If somebody is unaware of their Martian energy, if their Mars energy is also fallen, like mine, or if it's in a hidden house, an 8th or 12th house. Sometimes 4th house is a little interesting too, because it is kind of like the internal self, the home, right? You can see a lot of repressed, well, not just repressed sexuality, but also confusion on how to enact their willpower. And so I think it's interesting, people with Mars in the 12th house, or the 12th-ish house, they have this very occult kind of, it's cute, it's beautiful, it is cute, I'm gonna say it's cute. Whenever I run into people who have this placement, I'm like, you're kind of cute. Like, I don't know, I'm just like, that's so cute. Because I don't know, like I said, I love the occult. I love talking to people about the occult. And if you bring something up and I know a bit about it, oh my God, it's just like, I'm like, thank you. It's like just inhaling the exhalation of somebody in a good conversation. It's just, it's intimacy at its finest. I just, finest wine in the world is a good conversation with somebody who understands you. Or your desires, or your silly little niche interests, It's really nice. It's really nice. And I miss these conversations. I live in the Bible Belt. Everything's restricted here, or everyone's scared shitless to talk about things. Everybody just believes in gods and devils, like God and devil. Like that's just the polarity here, and it's so kindergarten. The conversation is baby. It's a kindergarten conversation you have, and so you're like, well, what's your favorite color? Like basically, the metaphysical conversations I have are with people that are sorry, I'm deviating from like the whole like, oh, we want to have fucking a vacation, so we're fantasizing together and coming into communion. But now I'm speaking upon astrology and metaphysics stuff. So anyways, um the conversation here, pre-K kindergarten, it's very, very sad. A lot of it, it's the churches here are like, oh, if you burn sage, you're worshiping Satan. Love that. I love it. Devil's whore, raise your hand. Love that. Can't get enough of it. Yeah. I didn't know that if you were intelligent or if you read books, it equated to sucking the devil's dick. Didn't know that. All about it though. That's great. Sounds fun. What a great time. Wonderful way to spend your weekend. Suck my dick. How about that? Like, what are you talking about? Like, God, it's so frustrating. I'm like, okay, well, let's just laugh and giggle, and that'll pass time until they stop talking to me. You know what I mean? Like, what can you do other than laugh in the face of somebody whenever you're trying to have a real conversation about, let's say, just the occult or things esoteric in nature or metaphysical or blah, 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 the things that are and are not. You're just having a conversation, a fun conversation. And they're like, I don't do that because I'm a good Christian and Jesus motherfucking Christ, all this stuff. And then you're just like, well, yes, but never mind. And so you just laugh and you're like, and then everything's over and you go home and you're like, fuck me. Great, love that. Perfect, fantastic. I love wasting my fucking time and my breath on this planet. Only get so many heartbeats. I love the fact that I spent them with you feeling like a dumbass. My heart only gets to beat so many times in one lifetime. I'm so grateful I spent it talking to you. Oh my god, so I was cornered in Walmart by some man from New York peddling the Bible. And he came up to me, he was like, ma'am, and I had already gotten in the car, and he was like, ma'am, because they get very, like, irate with you, the Bible peddlers, they Jesus saved me, and he could save you, like, they get very, very, very rude down here, and I'm not about it, because, yeah, I know a lot about Jesus and all these things, but, like, shut the fuck up. Shut your whore mouth. Who are you talking to? Ma'am? First of all, it's madame. Just kidding. No, so he was being very aggressive with me, as they are. Whenever you go to Walmart and then the people from the Bible thumpers come at you, and then I'm just like, so I looked at him dead in his eyes and I went like this. And he was just like, I was like, that's right, bitch. Anyways, and he's just, god damn it, motherfucker. I hate that shit. I hate it so much. It is so annoying. God. There's also points where, like, I don't know, like, I used to work with a lot of people there. I worked with this beautiful little Taurasian goddess. She was so cute and sweet and smart and wise. And I love Taurus energy. I just do so much. Anyways, God, they're so beautiful. I love Tauruses. They're so fucking beautiful. Get out of my face. If you're a Taurus, get the fuck out of my face, because I'm gonna fawn all over you. I'm just going to love you to bits and pieces, because, yeah. Anyways, I'm just a helpless Libra. I'm just a helpless loser. I'm just such a fucking loser. Anyways, I love Taurus. They're so cute, and oh god, they're so cute. So, anyways, yeah, I worked with this girl, and she had like 8 placements in Taurus. Like, not 8, maybe 7 or 6. She had a lot. She was born in the year 2000. I think it was 2000. Yeah. Anyway, she's very beautiful. She's 25 this year. Oh god, it's been that long. Anyways, Wow, what is time? Time is weird. So, anyways, she's like a little Buddha. She was so sweet, and she had Buddha on her arm. And one of the incarnations of Buddha was also Taurus. And when I told her that, she was like, "No fucking way, man." And I was like, "Yeah," and she was like, "Wow." She was like, "Yeah." Anyways, I love Tauruses. I want to keep them safe, and I want to hurt anybody who hurts them. I have like this. I don't know. Like when I love something, I want to defend it. Like with all the cunt inside of me. All the cuntiness inside of me, I want to defend the Taurasian people. Or people with beautiful Taurus aspects and placements. And just like, you lucky little devil, you. Anyways. So I am stupid. Anyways, and also, like, I'm a Libra, but I was born on the cusp, and so I'm just this fucking in-between person. I have all of my placements and aspects astrologically, they're all in between, and so they're either fleeting. And the way I spoke to some of my friends who are astrologers, I hope they're still alive. I hope you guys are okay out there. I hope you guys are okay. But there was a woman, and we were very good friends, and she was so beautiful and wise and silly. And she said that because I have a lot of degrees, like placements at the degrees of 28, and there's 30 degrees within a house, a aspect, a house, and so a sign. Sorry. So she was saying, well, I was like, I have a lot of 29 and 28 degrees and 0 degrees placements, like all in cusps, and it's very confusing. And I've always felt like a threshold dweller, like as a medium, like in between here and there, not very like human and not very non-human, just something that is and is not. I've always felt that way. And then my astrological chart also reflects these sensations I feel so deeply within myself, outside of myself, above myself, below myself, all these things, yeah. So she was saying that the energy of the like 27 degrees to 5 or 27 to 0, it's like somebody's leaving a door. So it is like a threshold energy. It is that you do not encompass that energetic vibration of Taurus, Scorpio, Libra, whatever. You're not sitting directly in the middle of the room. You are like, it's a room and there's a door to enter the room and there's a door to exit the room. 0 degrees in the room, the meat part of the degrees. Like 0 to like 25 is like door, middle of the room, and then 25 to, it's 30 and 0 again. It's like or how do you say it? 30 to 20, 29 degrees, whatever. It's like you're leaving the room. So you can't really appreciate, there's an energetic leaving. It's like a going, but it's still there. You're still catching parts of the conversation in that house, in that room, in that sign, but you're on your way out. And so I liked the way she described that to me. Astrologically speaking, it fit well with how my life was and is. And the astrological baggage that I carry into this planet, it's trash. I have what I like to call a trash chart, and it's where a lot of my placements and aspects are. They are fallen. The planets are in signs of their enemies, historically speaking. Like I have a Jupiter in Virgo, and Jupiter is not so happy in Mercury's house, kind of thing. Now, of course, if we're talking about astrology, there is East and West. And I love Vedic and Eastern astrology. It is so much more solidified and real to me. It has more of a foundation. It's real to me. But when we're talking Western astrology, of course, it is and it is not. It is a very strange thing because calculations on a computer, which is so Western, versus Eastern and Vedic astrology, where the planets do move and they keep up with those degrees and the placements and the movements throughout the universe. So in Vedic astrology, it's more true, and in Western astrology, it is and it is not. It is more mathematical and calculatory, based upon an input into a computer, and then we assume it's a roundabout ballpark astrology. So it is and it is not. But unfortunately, because I live in the West, Western astrology, logically and metaphysically, holds more over me because I live in the West. I don't live in the East. if we're going off of that stuff. So yes, Vedic astrology is important, and it is very good. It's very beautiful, and it is extraordinarily accurate. I love my tummy's growling. My Vedic astrologers that I listen to, commune with, and devour information from, because I do love devouring information. But unfortunately, I live in the West, and so the Western charts will hold more they on me. You know what I mean? Western charts are more, they affect me more because I live in the West. So Western thinking also affects me more because I live in the West. You are kind of compelled to an extent over where you live, and the atmosphere and the rest of the world's thinking is still up there. You know what I mean? The jarbling, the combobulation of clusterfuck of ideas that is in the airspace above you still affects you. It's still penetrating you. Those airwaves, those thoughts, the vocalizations and whatnot, is still affecting your body to some extent. Even if we do try to keep ourselves away from, too much, it is still on some level affecting us. Now, the way that it affects us, perhaps it is not as much as, like, if you are constantly consuming media from a television of what they provide, they broadcast out, right? Or you're constantly consuming propaganda media, things of that nature, like visually, frontal, like into your face, and you're speaking it, you're hearing it, blah blah blah. That will affect you more because it's more solidified, it's more real. But the other, if you just don't, if you don't listen to what's going on, it'll affect you, but it's far away. It's more like ants crawling across your feet instead of a lion roaring in your face. That is the difference between actively participating and passively just observing. You know what I mean? The ants crawling across your feet or a lion in your face. And then you screaming back at the lion. That's the difference between consuming media and propaganda actively or passively trying to ignore it, and really just feel out for the other subtle energies that are in the air and the places around you. Yeah, it's very difficult, I think, because like I said before, there is a lot of us that we cannot control. There's a lot of moving parts to this life that we can and cannot control to some extent. And of course, like with metaphysical stuff, there's always that with the metaphysical stuff. Like I was saying, there are routines and rituals that you can do to kind of fine tune yourself to, I mean, where I have a whole thing of tuning forks and singing bowls and things to where you like harmonize your frequency with the frequency of other things. And then you dive further down, and there's sigils and there's books you can surround yourself, and things that you could do, and rituals you could partake in, and things that you could align yourself with lunar and solar, and there's whole things to make sure that your little radio tower, your little beacon is beep, 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 like getting the correct feed tuned to the right stations. Because the stations that are prevalent right now, and super duper active are just they're full of fear. They're like, it's just, and so you're just like, oh my god, something's happening, somebody's scared, but like whenever you get into metaphysical stuff, number one, there is this like beautiful and horrific rejection that sometimes happens. People will be like, you can't do something. And it's kind of like this weird challenge that happens. People will say to yourself or they say to you, or you find online, let's say you're on TikTok or in the YouTubes or something, and you're like, metaphysical stuff, there will be people who are like, you can't do it because of like some kind of bullshit list of reasons why you are limited and you are not allowed to come play with us, kind of thing, or come play with these gods, or come play with these ideas. They'll say it is not yours. There's a challenge that happens, and so then you have to find it in yourself if you are going to listen to them or listen to that strange treble hook in your heart that's pulling you forward towards some kind of I don't know. There's a resonance. You feel pulled, and it is like a magnet. It is like a seductive, beautiful magnet pulling you towards I don't know, the revelation of whatever you need to find out. And it takes years. It takes many, many years because you may listen to them at first. They say, you cannot come play with us. You cannot sit with us. Your skin is too pale, or blah, 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 blah. There was times with me learning about Santeria where people told me that I was and was not allowed to do things. And you'll hear from every different practitioner different things. It's all very confusing. And so you have to learn how to just shove things so far into your ears and so far into your eyes and your mouth and just be led by this very strange magnetic pull to where you need to go. On planet Earth, on like sometimes you feel pulled to places, spaces, people, movies, media. There is a subconscious, like in Western world, the speaking is like there is a subconscious pull in the collective conscious in order to find this archetype and blah blah blah. Yeah, sure, of course. And if we're talking Western ways, yeah, sure, all right, whatever. We could talk kindergarten baby bullshit all you want, but there is something far older and far deeper that is in this million-year-old DNA, possibly older. I mean, you have survived because of the deaths of millions of years of humans, and then you came together to exist because of friction in a dark space and place. And now you're here and you have to pay taxes. It's not funny. It's absurd. It is absurd. Can you imagine telling somebody, like telling a caveman about taxes? What? There is something deep, old, and ancient with no name and no face that pulls you to a place that is confusing. And why? I don't really fucking know. I don't fucking know why. And nobody knows why. In my early days, in the early 2010s, whenever Tumblr was a huge thing, and there was like this huge pagan thing on Tumblr. I don't know now, I'm not on Tumblr. But there was people would speak upon sometimes the gods, the powers above us, the things that control to an extent our life or whatever. Gods, planets, frequencies, whatever you want to call them. Whatever mask you want to put on them for the masquerade. I don't give a fuck. It's none of my business between you and yourself. What is my business is between me and myself. And all of myself. So people would they tried to reach out online. They knew the 21st century. They try to reach out online and they're like, help, something interesting is happening. Perhaps, what is it? And when you finally found somebody who wasn't like, go to the fucking mental institution, bitch, it was people who were also a little, peculiar. And so, let's just call them artists. They were just artists. But yeah, whenever you find your little tribe of freaks, it's interesting to finally feel like, okay, now I could tell somebody, like this whole, like, vomiting up these peculiar instances, and you don't feel so alone. But the most of the Western world will tell you you're crazy, you're psychotic, take a pill, pop of this, pop of that, la 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 la. You know what I mean? Like, people, they're so rude and disgusting and just narcissistic fucks. But and they will try to crush you and break you and whatever. But if you just shove some things so far in your ears to where you can't hear them, and you can hear that strange humming and ringing that pulls you towards something. If you could just become obsessed with that in a beneficial way, life will become better and more clear, and your purpose and the reasons will become more beautiful and delicious, But it's very easy to get distracted. And like I said before, there will become times whenever you accept the challenge, when they say, you can't come sit with us, you're too this, you're too that. And then you say to yourself either, oh, I guess they're right, or no, you're wrong. You don't tell me what I can and cannot do. There's something telling me to go down this path. I will have to fight you or fuck you up, but I need to get past you. There is something here. I don't know, there's tons of temptations and distractions that will keep you off your path. And the thing is, the path is yours. It is always yours. It was always for you. So you are safe and fine, but it is the illusion that you are not. It is the illusion that you're separate. It is the illusion that you are not enough, that you're to this, you're to that, blah, blah. It does not matter. Whenever you close your eyes a little bit and look towards the sun, your eyelashes are made out of little rainbows. And they're really, really nice. And they're very beautiful. And whenever you get really close to the sun and you look with your eyes, the little hairs on your skin, those have tiny rainbows in them too. And if you look too closely at your hands, you'll notice they're sparkling in the sunlight. Everything is the illusion of separation. What is meant for you will always find you, and you will always find it. In this incarnation, I don't know. I don't know much about that. But maybe in a different one. Maybe, perhaps. I don't know. But I think it's important to become obsessed with that calling. And of course, if you want to look at it astrologically, we have our north nodes and our south nodes, our Rahu and our Ketu. Our obsession in this life, where we want to go, and then our successes from a past life, where we've already been. The Rahu, or the north node, is where you will always find your north star, where you will always become obsessed or fixated on something. And then the Ketu, or the south node, is what you have already, your celebrated successes that you have already devoured, eaten, had the pleasure of ingesting and enjoying. It is the throne you sit back upon whenever you cannot reach your goal. So the north node to me is this like thing you're always championing towards. You're always trying to figure out how to fucking, you're so close, you're almost there. And then you try to grasp it and it is fleeting. And then so when you feel the failure of it fleeting, Ketu, or the south node, is that throne of successes you lean back upon and you fall into. Sometimes it could become vices, depending on the aspects, the placements, the planets, the houses, things of this nature that are aspecting your south node. But in past life astrology, the south node is your past life, things that you have already done, things you've already, won, the flags you have already placed upon the moon, kind of thing. The places where you've already placed your flags. So they are just the trophies in the halls of your past. And then the north node is where you're trying to go, where you're trying to achieve what you're trying to do in this lifetime. You will never really get there all the way fully, but you will have inklings of getting there. And so that's just a nicer way to be like, that's something you could become obsessed with if you wanted to. That's something you could point your nose towards and get really close to. But not that close, just almost close to where you can feel the breath coming back upon your mouth. And then it pulls away, and it's so aggravating. And you can fall into depression and slip into your south node. And that's fine too. But, and then also in normal astrology, it could be like the past, like your childhood, or past life astrology. It is past life indicator of like something that happened in your past. Anyways, so yeah, I used to be a past life astrologer. I used to get a lot of past life readings, and I learned different modalities and ways that I could, effectively predict and tap into people's past and things of that nature. The amount of times I've had people being like, how the fuck did you know that? Versus the amount of times people are like, you're just making this shit up. That's what makes me believe in astrology and my ability to be an astrologer. I know I'm an astrologer. There is no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Show me any chart and I will show you a truth. And then I will show you a lie. The lie is the masks we wear to try to pretend that our charts aren't real, to try to pretend that the past did not happen, to try to pretend that we are not what we were. The truth is, when you radically accept yourself for all of your failures and your successes, and your perceived successes and your perceived failures, when you realize that you are an entire universe made up of tiny molecules, particles, atoms, tissues, cells, all creating you, to some extent. Um, it is fascinating. It is magnificent and horrific as well, because how come the molecules and particles and atoms that create me also create you? That's peculiar, you know? And yet we're all trying to figure this out together. And sometimes we get really, really confused and we sit in our south node too much. We get very angry and we project that anger onto things from the past onto people in the future. It's weird, it's peculiar, whatever. I've done it too. I'm not innocent and I'm not a victim. I'm a fucking idiot. I'm a fucking loser and an idiot and, a fool. But that's the only way I can learn is by accepting radically that I am foolish and stupid and willing, so willing to be so dumb and ask so many questions and fall down too many rabbit holes. Um, because I know that there's a part of myself that I have to go and discover. There's a part of me locked away some deep dark place, and I will eventually have to have the cojones to go into these deep dark places and spaces and retrieve her, as we all do to an extent. That is our burden. When we're done playing around in the Bible Belt and talking about God and Jesus and the devil, eventually it'll come to a time where you have to go into your own hell, your own places that you dread, and master them and become the master of these hellish places because they're yours. They're the ones you made. Everything we do has a consequence, whether good or bad. And it's just important to keep following your North Star or your North Node. Sometimes it is hidden between smog and clouds, and we'll look around so we cannot see it so much in the sky. And then we start looking around at other people and getting mad and stupid and make mistakes. You're going to make many mistakes, but the challenge will occur, and you'll see your North Node again. You'll see that bright shining light, and you'll feel that treble hook in your heart pull you towards this unknown path in the jungle, and you're like, oh my god, am I going to die? Well, yes, we all are. So that shouldn't fucking stop you from pursuing your pull to the things that are important to you. Yeah, of course we're all going to die. Silly goose. Of course we are. We all love our hearts only have a certain amount of beats, allegedly. I don't know, I'm not a doctor, but that's what I hear. And so, is that scary? Yes. Because why waste them? Sitting around and getting angry at things you cannot control. Leave everything behind and go. Go somewhere else. Find a new place. Find a new way to be. Get a book. Read a book. Devour new information. See if it sits with you. Dive into a fantasy book that may not be so full of fantasy. Talk to an astrologer. Talk to a street tarot card reader. If you go to New Orleans, there are tons of people sitting there smoking cigarettes with like popped up tables. Spend $20, get a random reading, and maybe it's true, maybe it's not. What's gonna happen if you believe it's true? Oh, your life is going to get flipped, turned upside down. How fantastic and exciting is that? I'm kind of bad. I'm kind of devious and bad because I will talk to astrologers and tarot readers and things like that. And I will not tell them that I'm an astrologer or tarot reader just to get a feel of what's going on. If they're like pulling a pulling a rabbit out of their hat or just blowing smoke up my ass. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, it's fun. It's fun just to be like, oh, what are you doing? And then they're either legit or they're just like, whatever. Anyways, yeah. This world is increasingly becoming more strange, and so it's really increasingly becoming more important that you shove cotton deep into your ears and just don't let it in. And you have to tune your body to the radio frequencies of the things that pull you forward into, I don't know, like they said before, the revelation of what you need to find. What do you need to find? I don't fucking know. It's none of my business. But what I need to find is something, and I have to go look for it. Yeah, I think we all do. And it's going to take time. Anything that has to do with Saturn will take very much time, a lot of time. You may not understand. If, for instance, okay, I'm sorry, this is going very, very long. Okay, for instance, a lot of my life I felt pulled by something that I did not know it was real. So I was confused. I was like, oh, okay, well, this is just something in my head. This is something peculiar, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Was it a personification of Saturn's frequency? I don't know. If you talk to Vedic astrologers, they will say that Saturn is not just a planet, it is an ancient la 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 la. You'll have to go figure that out for yourself. Um, a lot of the times, we're not supposed to spoon feed each other. We're supposed to discover it with our own senses and allow those frequencies into our body and allow them to be interpreted how we feel and think and are. So the way you feel about Saturn, Mercury, Venus is going to be different than the way I feel because at an atomic level, I'm a little bit different than you are. You're a little bit different than I am. And so we all have these like little fractals of awareness that once all together they make a beautiful tapestry, a fantastic picture, a beautiful structure. Separate, you can feel confused. Separate, the awareness is like, what is this? Together, you find out what it is, and it is divinity fucking around in such a bullshit way. Anyways, like back in the day, like I was going to tell you, on Tumblr, a long, long time ago, people would call things like this, like they say it was god phones, or people like having connections to gods in your brain, gods, deities, entities, whatever. And it's just a thought. Let's just like fucking play around with these ideas. They are schools of thought that we're just going to dive into. It's fictional. It's not real. It's not going to hurt you. Let's think of it like that. It can't hurt you. It's not real. There. Do you feel safe? Let's go. So they would say things like, oh, well, it's like a god phone. Whenever you become attuned to these gods, deities, entities, it is like you constantly can hear their vibration, their hand on your shoulder, their hand on your neck, their hand in your mouth, controlling and shaping your reality to some extent. And you know, whenever you talk to certain people in certain metaphysical avenues and structures and places, they will say things such as, you know, people want to become linked to a god, a deity, or a demon, sometimes, or a demon. I don't know. But I've had people, personally, in my personal lifetime, they came up to me and they asked me, do you think that I can pull a thought form out of my head and bind it to a rock? Do you think that's possible? And I would say things such as, well, yeah, I think anything's possible. I think that, yeah, anything is possible in this realm of possibility. So, perhaps. And they came back months later and they were like, I did it. I was like, great. Oh, cool. Why did they do it? I don't know, but they did it. Or at least they believe they did, and that's all that fucking matters. Are they hurting anybody? No. That's also something I'd like to speak on. If it's not hurting anybody and it's only benefiting your journey, your psyche, making your life more rich and full, who gives a fuck? The government does, apparently, because they don't want you to be rich and full. They want you to be broken and torn and tattered so they can create beautiful little fucking workers. This is fucking... We're not going to talk about that. Because that's also a personification of Saturn. And so you gotta respect the art. You gotta respect the art. You gotta respect the work of him doing things. I don't know. Very scary. Love him though. Love that guy. Anyways, so it's very confusing, very peculiar, very strange. There are vibrational frequencies for every planet. There are many degrees for every sign. And the planets, their frequencies allegedly change with each degree to some extent. And when they're in the front of the room or they're in the middle, like when they're at the front door, they're in the middle of the house or they're leaving the house, that is a different conversation happening altogether. And it is beautiful. It is just beautiful to witness these things. At heart, I am an astrologer, and at heart, I am just an observer of the stars and things of that nature. And I love helping other people kind of piece together some of the strange stuff. I love... My tummy's growling again. I'm hungry, I think. I think that means I'm hungry. For souls. I'm just kidding. No, but I think that to an extent... you will have a strange path through this life. You will get distracted. You're going to make so many mistakes. You're going to fall off that tightrope. You're gonna bust your ass. You're gonna knock a tooth out. You're gonna bleed. Maybe you'll break a bone. But everything, as long as you're not dead, even past death, there's other things. Everything has some kind of a solution or a kind of a little piece of bubble gum. You put it on and slap it on a band-aid, and you go, okay, you're good. Keep going, bitch. You know what I mean? There's all of these very strange and beautiful avenues that every human takes, and unfortunately, it sucks to see the sheep in a flock being shepherded by an asshole. And so sometimes there's certain sheep that'll have to leave. They'll have to go. They'll have to grow. And they'll realize, I'm not a sheep, I'm a goat. And then you realize, oh my god, I'm the kind that gets sacrificed. And then you realize, I need to run out to the desert and say fuck you to everybody and live my own life. And then you'll realize that out in the desert, there's a whole fucking fuck ton of random goats that are just like, hey, us too, bitch. Let's talk about it. And so then once you start communicating to somebody who you feel is safe and you're in a safe place or space, it feels good. But I think what's so damaging is on your path, it is when the challenges occur, people challenge you and then they say, you're not this, you're not that, what are you? You know, they say things that'll crack and break you. It could even be they say things like, you need to go yourself. And that is so it's so horrible. I've been there where people have told me that. They're like, hey, you're a freak. Why don't you just go yourself? Or why don't you go yourself? And I'm just like, why don't you? It's just crazy. Those are the kind of horrible things that happen sometimes. At least they happen to me. So yeah, people will say, well, you're not worthy of this information. It is like the tarot card of the high priestess. She is like standing there with the information and she either grants access or rejects. And sometimes within these challenges, you'll be rejected or you'll be granted access. It depends on where you're at personally. Where you are at, where you're allowed to be, vibrationally speaking. Some people are just like, you need to be attuned to a higher frequency. Yes and no. Sometimes you don't need to be attuned to the highest frequency. You always talk about like, oh, you can get information from being at the highest of highs. There's also the lowest of lows, babe. Have you ever been kicked in the teeth hard enough that you were just eating asphalt and brimstone off of the fucking nose of the things that are and are not? Have you? Have you? Have you ever sat there and watched people just rip themselves apart? There are things in lower vibrational frequencies that you can learn from as well. I think that's what I was trying to get to earlier too. People, they back in the day before, like, it's very popular now. The internet has sensationalized metaphysics and witchcraft, and so you got a lot of Pinterest mobs out there telling you to put cinnamon up your butthole once a month for good luck. I don't know. I don't know about that, but whatever. You do you. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to fall into pit holes. You're going to go down rabbit holes that are not rabbit holes. And they are snares. They're not dens, they're snares. Or they're bear dens. Or there's a honey badger in one of them. And you're going to figure out what that sensation's like. And so, it's all a lesson. Is it not? Wait, tell me what's up. This is the third time it's growled. So, yeah, you're going to fail. You're going to suck. You're going to suck so bad at what you do. But the only way for you to really get better at metaphysical shit is to continually like believing and not believing and testing and trying. I mean, the way I've heard it said is that alchemists, there's no way that you can truly learn the entirety of everything within one lifetime. And to me, I think that astrology and the incarnations and the samsara, the wheel of torture and pain, I think that what it is our souls get wrung to an extent. They come into these different incarnations, into these different meat suits, and we are and we are not, and then we are wrung out by life and changed and shaped and formed, and there's different lessons you get from different pain and challenges and rejection and things of that nature. Not all rejection is bad. Not all rejection is bad. Sometimes it's good. That is my chicken. And so sometimes I think it's people screaming, but it's my rooster or my chicken. Okay. Anyways, not all rejection's bad. Some of it's good. Sometimes you need to go into those dark places by yourself because you think, oh my god, I'm going out to the desert. I'm wandering there alone. I've been rejected by society as an outcast, as a fucking scapegoat, blah, 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 right? Blah, blah. And then you realize, oh my god, that's actually where my people are, wandering in the desert. There's actually places and spaces out there in no man's land where the other no mans live, the other non-man live, that are just like you or something. You'll find it. You just have to follow that treble hook pulling your heart. Now, don't confuse desire for lust and addiction. There's differences. You'll learn along the way. It is all going to be very confusing. You're going to hear the call, and it'll get loud and quiet depending on different days of the month and different days of the week. And what's going on? Who is yelling louder? Right now, there's a lot of other things very, very loud. And so it's very hard to hear ourselves when the entire world is screaming in agony and pain. It makes you want to scream too, just, like, what can you do? What can you do, to ease the pain? I think that's a reason why Kuan Yin, she could have gone to Buddhahood, the story of Kuan Yin, but she said that until the cries and screams of my stomach, until the cries and screams of pain stopped, she would never reach, like, nirvana or whatever. She actively goes back down to help others. So, Kuan Yin's story, go ahead and look that up. It's very nice. It's good. It's beautiful. Love Kuan Yin. Anyways, I'm gonna go. I don't even know what I talked about this whole time. I have no idea what I said, and it started off with just, I don't know. I've been feeling a certain way the past couple of days, and the way I feel is the way I've always felt, but it's louder now. And so I have access to it. I can hear it again. Myself, to an extent. They're like, oh, you need to show up as your highest self. Sometimes you need to show up as your lowest self and just allow the rejection to happen. And you find out who your allies are and who are the bastards that are not. The people who are, sometimes our existence is opposition. Sometimes we are supposed to just oppose the things that are. And it gives good balance. It gives good texture. It creates depth. It makes the outcome of the project better. Because when you just stand fully in yourself and you notice, God damn, I am the opposition. At least I'm not bad, but that's not the truth. You're not bad just because you're in opposition. It is a place that you stand. And sometimes it brings balance to nature. It brings balance to society. And it brings balance to a civilization. To have opposition, it creates depth, it creates strength, and it helps people develop mercy as well. Opposition is not always so bad. Sometimes it's delectable, sometimes it's beautiful and delicious, and sometimes, like I said, it helps you understand the challenges and also your allies, as well as your enemies, who are not always your enemies. Sometimes it's like, sometimes they're not always your enemies. Sometimes they're just you in a mask. It's a masked mirror. So, yeah, I don't know what I'm talking about. I don't really know anything. But what I do know is I'll see you guys later. Maybe that's a lie. Anything could happen. Anything could happen when I shut this off. So I don't know if I'll see you later. Okay, well, hey, good luck on your journey, wherever you're at, whoever you are in this moment, and whatever you're doing. Good luck. Yeah. I hope you're okay. I hope you're good. Take care of yourself. Drink water. Take your medication. That's what I'm about to go do. Okay, goodbye.